First of all, I appreciate the students that came out to, for the fun game. It's awesome to see, how much support that they give for what they do. And, I talked to one of the directors before the game and just asked, what can I do more to help you? Or as it gets closer, how can I help you? And, I want to do everything possible. Because that looked awesome tonight. And I got a chance to meet a couple of the kids that came before the game and say hi to them. And, I hope they had a great time tonight. That was a goal of our team is when people come, like I said, every single time people come to watch us play, they leave and say that was money well spent. And I'd love to do that again. And it's easy to do with this team. It's easy to do with this team. They earned a well-deserved day off tomorrow for what we just went through, right? 22 days from game to game, and then to come back and play 4 in 10 days, something like that? 9 days, 4 games in 9 days. That's tough. That is tough. We've been going 2 days. We've been going game, day between game, film, and then right back into practice. And they were as locked in as shoot around today defensively as I've seen them. And I knew when I left there that we were going to be ready to guard. We were going to be ready to defend. It's a different story though, right? We still got to do it. Ron Harper still makes threes. Geo Baker's still tough as can be, and they have a good team. They came in hot, but the look I saw at 3 o'clock today told me we were going to have a pretty good day.
Mark?
Micah, you had assistant coaches and GAs and everybody spreading their arms out. What was the message there? Because I don't think we've seen that in every game, and how important, could you just build on that a little bit, to play with that sort of defensive intensity against guys who have played that much Big Ten basketball?
You know what, for us, remember when I talked about we went back and evaluated our team during those days off. One area where we were lacking was our shot volume. I've said it before, we were last in high major basketball in shot volume. And that was because, 1, we turned the ball over too much. 2, since game 3, our offensive rebounding had taken a dip. So we weren't getting as many offensive rebounds back. On the flip side of that, we've done a great job on the defensive boards, right? Withstanding tonight. Cliff's tough, so good on the glass, but they got 11 offensive. But we've done a good job of keeping people off the glass. But how we play defense, we don't turn people over, right? We're safe. We're going to be solid. We're going to be in position every single time. But there's a difference between being in position and standing with your arms to your side, or being in position and standing there like you're covering ground. And I showed them clips or 2 video kind of screenshots of our Celtics teams playing the Milwaukee Bucks in the playoffs 2 years in a row. And the first one, Eric Bledsoe's bringing the ball down the court, and there's 5 guys all standing like this. Jason Tatum's in the opposite corner, 50 feet from the ball, and he's standing there like that. There's people on the bench standing there like that. And, our guys have really bought into it. And as you see, our numbers, we're still not turning the ball over. I think it was maybe the Northwestern game. I looked and I was like, they had 6 turnovers. I was like, it felt like 50, right? Because sometimes they drive by you and we're getting our hands on the basketball and swiping it away from them. It happened again tonight, right? We turned them over 15 times. Still being solid. We didn't change anything defensively. All we changed was this. Now I'm covering more ground. Now it looks like I'm covering more ground. Now it looks like I'm in 2 different places at once. And the more success you have at something, the more buy-in you get. And our guys have really taken a hold of that, and it's helped us defensively.
Mike, I don't know if you remember, but yesterday I asked you about Ron Harper Jr., and you said that you'd do a good job defending him if you held him to less points than he had shots, and you actually did that tonight. So how do you take this defensive success defending him into Sunday's game against E.J. Liddell and Ohio State?
Spencer, I do remember that, for one. Two, I'm not going to tell you how we're going to guard E.J. Liddell and Ohio State. We're going to stand there with long arms. I know that's going to be a part of our plan. Now, I just said this on the radio. Like at the start of the year, I don't know, whenever practice started, whenever the season started, there probably wasn't anybody in here that was waving the Seth Lundy all-defensive team flag, right? Seth Lundy has guarded the best player or one of the best players on every single team this year. And I told him tonight, and I told the guys on staff, and I take Seth out. When Ron Harper goes out of the game, Seth Lundy comes out of the game. I said, Seth, if I'm not paying attention and you see Ron Harper go in the game, get up and check yourself back in. You are guarding him the entire night. And he did. I thought he did an excellent job. He is fighting. He is fighting. He's making it tough on people. His athleticism, his length, his attention to detail have all, that attention to detail has really improved. And, I might be hurting him on the offensive end because he's exerting so much effort on the defensive end, but he's making timely threes and he's really guarding people. He is really fighting. And kudos to him. Kudos to Jalen Pickett for guarding Geo Baker in the same way. Like, those two are as scary as possible. And obviously I've been a part of it. And they beat us when I was at Purdue, I'll say maybe 3 straight times. Twice my first year and once my second year. And those guys were a huge part of it every single time. So total team effort. Total team effort. But kudos to Seth. Kudos to Jalen Pickett. Now we got to do it again. We got to do it again, right? We're going to take a day off, but I don't want to stop. I want to keep playing. I wish we could play tomorrow because I know our guys would be ready. They'd be ready to guard. They'd be ready to fight, and they're going to be ready to do what needs to be done to win on Sunday.
Micah, Sam mentioned that he didn't put his best effort forward on Saturday. What did you see from him over the last couple of days, and what did you say to him to make sure he was locked in for tonight?
I didn't really say anything to him. He knew, right? I didn't have to. Him playing 9 minutes was the message. Like, you need to be on board with what we're doing and playing as hard as possible, right? The video doesn't lie. So, like, what he did tonight, and I got on him, right? I got on him on Saturday, and that's hard to take. Like, it's hard to take when you're somebody that has been counted on. You're somebody that scored a lot, and now you play 9 minutes, right? There's 2 things you can do. You can go in the locker room and you can be a locker room lawyer. You can go to somebody else that didn't play and start talking like, hey, man, how come you didn't play? I didn't play either. Yeah, his coach is doing a terrible job. If we'd have played, we might have won. Or you can come back and fix it, right? You can take ownership. You can look inside, right? That says a lot about his character, who he is as a person, his resiliency, to just bounce back and play. And he played with more force. He played with more pace. He was attacking the basket. And we're really hard to guard when he and Pickett are both playing like that at the same time.
You talked about Sam Sessoms, and obviously he comes in today, puts up a strong performance after Purdue. What does it say about him to do that in late-game situations?
I think we still need to be better late game. But he puts so much pressure on the defense because of the way he gets to the rim. Our numbers, if you look at our numbers, we've been good at scoring around the rim. Part of that is because he gets in there a lot and he makes those tough shots. But he also forces the defense to come and help. And he can drop it off for a lob. He can put it up on the glass and have a shot blocker go try and get it. Now John's free to get offensive rebounds, and whatnot. So we need him. Like, the pressure he puts on the defense, the spacing that our guys try and play with to give him room to drive the basketball, it helps our offense. When you can play with multiple ball handlers, multiple guys that can play off pick and rolls, the better your offense will be. And, tonight was a chance. We got to see both of them out there together, both of them kind of clicking at different times throughout the game, but both of them were going. Now you're worried about both of them.
Micah, we saw Jelani Scott for the first time on the court. What were kind of your initial impressions of his debut, and how do you kind of see his role going forward from now?
I was happy for him, man. I was I always say stuff. Like, I spent 4 years with Coach Painter, so I always say stuff that, like, he says all the time. But I said in the locker room, I was excited. I was like, Jelani, you got your name in the paper? Like, the old school paper, right? You flip the page back to B8 or B9, and it's got the names back there in the back. Penn State, Hare, 16, Dredd, 2, Scott, 2. Like, he got his name in the paper, man. I'm fired up for that kid. Like, what he's done to put himself in position to help us. And then I just told him to go in and play as hard as possible. Play as hard as possible. Don't mess up defensively. That's pretty tough to do, right? But don't mess up defensively. And give us everything you got. I knew he'd be tired, right? He's been itching to play. So the opportunity to play, right, when he comes and there's fans there, it's excitement. He's probably gassed, but he gave us a good spark in the first half. He played hard, and then he gave us a little spark in the second half and got a bucket. And, we'll get him knock those free throws in, too, because I had 4. Because it said Scott 4 on page B9 tomorrow.
Micah, I guess in analysis, sometimes you hear people talk about winning games different ways. Is that something that you think about and view as important, and if so, why?
You know what? I like winning the game the same way, right? How we play shouldn't change from night to night, from opponent to opponent. I was thrilled. We shot 38% in the first half and went into halftime up 8. Like, the ball doesn't need to go in for us to win and have success. And that's who we are. That's who we are. Our guys are buying into that. Our guys are if we defend like that each and every night, we're going to give ourselves a chance. We got to get better. We got to get better. We worked the other day on closing halves, starting halves better, right? We closed it 4-3 today, and we had 1 turnover, but we started the second half pretty poor. So that's something that we're going to get back to work at. But the way we defend, if you do that, you give yourself a chance. And I love it. I love it. If we could, there might not be anybody here to watch, but if we could win 4-2, I'd be thrilled. I'd be thrilled. Our defensive numbers would be awesome.
What are the challenges of kind of maintaining a 10-point-ish lead and not giving that away and building on it actually towards the close?
Yeah, that's that's when the pressure sets in of, like, do you keep attacking or do you pull the reins back a little bit? Like, I want us to keep attacking. We got some stops and we were going in transition, and keep doing it. As long as we don't turn it over, I'm okay with it. And then at a certain point, we start to put the brakes up. They get the double stop signs, like, we're going to run some clock right here. But, like I said, it goes back to having 2 guys that can handle the basketball and run your offense. And now it kind of takes away what they do in terms of how they guard you late. Because if they trap one, you can throw it to the other and vice versa. So that's a challenge. For us to be able to hold that lead was great. And to play like that, it doesn't feel good. Like, you're just looking at the clock. I'm just looking at it the whole time, and the only thing in my mind is like Chris Berman. It's like tick 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 tick. I'm just like, come on, baby, let's get this thing moving. But I thought our guys did a great job of knowing when to attack and knowing when to slow down, run offense, run the clock a little bit.
The last question.
Micah, you said that the guys kind of had a fire in their eye around 3 o'clock coming into this game. What did you see from them when you guys jumped out to that 18-6 start?
Same kind of thing. Like, the shots that they took to start the game were the shots that we want people to take, right? Like, I don't know, it's no secret. Like, we try and force you in the long 2-pointers. And, like, we keep our shell intact defensively. You know, we stay in front of the ball, and then we try and contest you when you shoot a long 2-pointer. And to start the game, they took a bunk load of them, right? They just kept shooting them. And I was like, this is great. Right? They make them, though. Geo Baker's one of the best in our league at making those. But over time, people don't make those shots. They don't. I've got data from the NBA all the way back into college. Like, people don't make those shots consistently, and they don't beat you. And they were taking the shots that we wanted them to take, so we felt pretty good about how we were guarding early in the game, which gave us some confidence.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.